was a good weekend, Thurrott.
I saw. I saw. Um, yeah,
Good weekend.
I didn't realize it had been 31 years since
Hmm.
your team has won a playoff game, meaning that in your conscious lifetime, you've never experienced this before.
Yes, I was 5 the
Yeah,
last time they won a game in the playoffs. It's not
yeah,
that they didn't make it
that's
to the playoffs. It's that they
so
just
1990,
yep.
91, I guess.
I think it was 90, 91. No, it
90,
was 91. Technically
yeah.
91. Yeah.
So, so the 1990 season. Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
There was
Well,
a large glass of good stuff.
I
Probably
told
maybe
you,
a little
I
too
think
large.
privately, this year has been the weirdest that I've ever seen in the NFL. A lot of teams are just in kind of the 9-7, 10 and
Mm.
6 range, So all bets are off. I you know I think I think the Bengals have as much chance as the Bills, the
Yeah, we'll see.
Buccaneers, the
Our defense got beat up
49ers.
bad, like injury wise.
Yeah.
So if those guys don't come back, we're screwed. But geez, it was a
Well,
weird weekend of
dude,
football.
football is a sport of one game playoffs,
Oh yeah.
So I mean, anything can happen.
Oh, it really can. I mean, the Bills straight up destroyed the Patriots.
Right.
Ben
Right.
Roethlisberger is probably done, which joyfully.
Oh,
Uh,
God, please. I hope so.
we've got that. I mean, like the teams that are in, like the Tennessee Titans of all people, are number
I
one
know.
seed. Like it's like really,
I know. Yeah, that says, well, I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk about that.
no,
The Bengals and the Tennessee Titans, I mean, to me, are like, okay.
yeah,
These are, the Tennessee's had some good years for sure, but yeah, they're like number one seed. Yeah, like I said, it's a crazy season. So,
it is. We'll see what happens. Doesn't matter. The Bengals got a playoff win, get the monkey off the back, and
hmm
now we can
yep.
move on with more depressive things. I don't know. Like it's January 17th. It is,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
snowed.
Yeah. All right. I don't, when I travel, I don't pay attention to what's going on where I live usually, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we have friends who travel with us or friends who come and visit us as well. And they're always concerned about every day they're like, "Oh, it's whatever the weather is." And is that happening here? I'm like, what are you talking about? Who cares? But this is a big storm and or it was a big storm, I guess. And I don't know. I actually don't know how it ended up, but what I'll say is I saw a report that compared it to a blizzard from 1993, which was significant for my wife and I because that was the year we moved to Phoenix from Boston, and we were packed up, ready to
Oh.
leave, and this state of emergency happened. It delayed us 2 or 3 days. I don't remember,
Mm-hmm.
but our entire trip south, Washington D.C. was absolutely destroyed by snow. We visited relatives in North Carolina, snow everywhere, which is very unusual. And then we drove through Atlanta, Georgia, and every airport on the East Coast was shut down by that storm. And they basically said this is exactly the same pattern and could have the same impact. Lots of like ice coming
Mm-hmm.
later and just making everything a mess. So sorry, that was a long story. But how long or how bad was it
Yeah, it
where
wasn't.
you?
We were on the edge of it. We only got 2, maybe 3 inches. So
Yeah.
nothing. Just a nice snow. Didn't. I don't think it screwed anything up really locally, logistically. 2 to 3 inches doesn't screw up Cincinnati. When you get above like
Well,
six, seven, eight inches,
it's that rain ice thing
yeah,
later that could screw up anything. I mean, you could have no snow and you have like just a covering of ice and it'll just ruin it,
yeah,
you know. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna look and see how bad. I don't care.
yeah. When do you got
We're
a
not coming home
week?
for like
What
more
do you
than
have out?
that. 31st we're coming home, so whatever that works out to be.
Oh, that's longer than that.
Yeah,
Wow, you're down there for a while.
yeah, it's almost a home swap except for
Okay.
money. you know, I
Yeah.
just wrote about this the other day. It's like it's sort of like a home swap conceptually because we're staying in a place we can go shopping locally, we can cook
Mm-hmm.
here. Uh, the differences are when we do a home swap, we leave our car at the airport, and then the family arrives and they take our car from the
Mm-hmm.
airport. I don't know if you've ever looked at how much it costs to put a car at an airport for like what is it, 18 days.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not something we'd ever looked into. And then the other one, of course, is the Airbnb. We have to play. We're paying for the place that we're in. It's not super expensive because it's Mexico, but it's a nice place. And
Yeah.
like, these add not quite $2,000, but over 1,000, somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 worth of additional cost, you know.
Hmm.
Plus, my car's sitting in a parking lot somewhere at a hotel in Newark. You know, I sort of imagine it's going to be up on blocks, you know, when I get home or something.
If you're lucky,
Yeah,
if it's still
yeah.
there.
Try not to think about that.
Well, other things you can think about paying for is Netflix is going to be increasing the dollar dues, how much they're charging there. I don't know. I mean,
It's a tough one. Netflix has the richest content library there is, right?
hmm
For one thing, and I a lot of people are obviously upset about this, understandably, right? And then there's kind of a cynical view, like, well, they already have all the customers they can have,
Yep.
so the only way they can grow is to raise prices. I don't know. I pay for the most expensive tier of Netflix, and I think at some point when it crosses the cost of like YouTube TV, I guess you know we'll have some major concerns. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, my kids use it. I use it. You know, we use it. Whatever. I don't know.
I think part of
Yeah.
it potentially too, which they don't call out, but I bet it's getting more expensive to buy content.
Well, they have right because now they have a lot of competition.
Ton of it.
Apple, Disney, HBO Max, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone's
Peacock, don't
doing,
forget the Peacock.
of course, all
And then
those
you have
TVs.
even just your traditional TV shows, right? Your ABC, NBC, CBS that are over the air, and
Yeah. No, I mean, look, HBO was on to this a long, long time ago, and they were kind of by themselves for decades. But I think the big shift that's happened in recent years with like this kind of entertainment is marquee actors and actresses would have gone to movies and never
Mhm.
would have appeared on TV. And I think now most of the high quality content is actually these extended series or whatever you want to call them, these limited series or whatever they are. And Netflix, I think, is the king of that.
Yeah,
And they just have the most of it. It's just the way it is. And so, yeah, you have to keep investing and you have to maintain your lead, I guess. I mean, you can't, you know, we can't, it's like HBO can't just exist because The Sopranos was the thing
hmm
20 years ago, whenever that was. Um, they have to keep making, yeah, and yeah, that's expensive.
it
And
is.
these are movie quality productions
Hmm
that are 8, 10, 20, whatever hours long, and then maybe have multiple seasons.
And then you're going up against Apple, who effectively has an unlimited budget,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Disney probably is up there with that unlimited budget too. I mean, they've
Absolutely.
got
Yep. And all those franchises, right? I mean, I you know, I don't, the Marvel moviefication of movies is not something I'm a fan of,
yeah.
but it's popular and they have that stuff. So, you know, that Star Wars, the Pixar, the traditional Disney cartoons, whatever. So, yeah, it's a big deal.
Really is. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, we pay for the 10. The one annoying thing is that Netflix does do is the 1080p stream, which we pay for, which is like the middle rung, doesn't have HDR. It's like, come on, really?
There are many annoying things to do. Like one of the problems I have with Netflix is they have too much content and they don't do a good job of letting you filter it in ways that are meaningful. Like I stop showing me shows I've already seen.
Yep.
There's an idea. Or, you know, they always have things like you watch this, so here are some other things like this. Those things are almost never like the thing I watched.
hmm
I use this example a lot. Like there's a movie called Gone Girl. It's just a thriller. You know, wife disappears. You know, is it the husband? You know, whatever. This mystery. It's a good movie. It's based on a book. Whatever. Girl in the train is a girl. Yeah, Girl in the Train is kind of like this. You know, okay. I've already seen this movie. I would like to see something like this movie.
hmm
Right? I don't think there are. I mean, there aren't because Netflix certainly can't show me anything like
Yeah.
it. You know, I mean, maybe one or two things, but I wish that was better because once you have so much content, it becomes really hard to organize it in a way that makes sense.
Yep. It'll never happen. Apple tried to do it, I think, with their TV app. But
Hmm.
it would be just awesome if there was an app that says,
Yeah.
okay, here's your Netflix, your Hulu, your Disney Plus, your HBO. You can log in.
So yeah, so that exists, but it's terrible. So the Google TV does this, Amazon does this, like I said, Apple TV does this. The problem is not everyone buys into it,
Right.
and so they'll be like Hulu will say, "Yeah, we're not doing that. You can't put our stuff in there."
hmm
Um, Hulu doesn't want you to like The Handmaid's Tale and then find other shows like it on Netflix or Amazon,
Right.
right? And that's what that you know that's this is what Windows Phone promised. Remember with the hubs,
Yeah.
the idea was you didn't have to think about a photo service or an app. You just think about photos.
Yep.
And if you were on Flickr at the time, or you know Google didn't exist, Google Photos probably, or Google Photos, whatever it was, OneDrive, these things would all be in one place, and that's great for the user. it's not great for those companies, those brands. Same problem.
What are you gonna do?
Gonna switch channels a lot. That's what you're gonna do.